I'm sorry, could you kindly repeat yourself?
Our engagement is terminated! Terranetta Hopkins and I are henceforth engaged!
Then it's done. I won't hold back anymore. May I ask for one final thing?
What is it you want? Money? Jewelry? Or perhaps...
Nothing of the sort. May I kindly knock the teeth out of this craven, two-faced bitch?
May I Ask for One Final Thing is just an absolute knockout of an anime. Holy cow, the very first episode basically grabs you by the throat and just pummels you into blissful submission. And yes, I know I'm kind of laying it on just a little bit thick here at the beginning, but that's because it's a great story. I mean, this is basically young noble woman one punch gal just beating the snot out of all these people who absolutely deserve it. And in the first 2 episodes of this anime, I mean, if you're not sold on the premise and everything that's happening, then obviously this is not for you. But holy cow, holy dang, this show did something incredible with its first few minutes, something that I feel that a whole lot of stories and even a lot of anime and manga really struggle to do, and that is deliver to the audience exactly what they can expect, but do it in such a way that you don't realize until in retrospect that you were just served up something literally incredible. And I want to dive into why that is. Hi there everyone, Lars here from Camille's Harem, a channel for novice authors by novice authors, and because writing is an adventure, it's way more fun with friends, so I hope that you will strap on in, buckle up for the ride, because oh boy, I am going to talk a whole lot about just how epic the opening to May I Ask for One Final Thing actually is. And it's epic not in the way that it's so completely over the top that you're just like, wow, or that the animation is so gorgeous that you just can't peel your eyes away. No, it's incredible because it does precisely what a good opening chapter, a good opening scene should do for your story. It introduces us to one of the main characters. It tells us basically what kind of story we're getting into. It gives us a good idea for the plot, and it also cements the atmosphere of the story. So let me start breaking down what I mean by these various components.
If our lives were plucked from the stories, your character would be written as an undeniable villainess.
Now, let's start off with the main character. You'd think that this should be self-explanatory. Okay, here we go. We've got Scarlet. She's our main gal. She's going to beat people up. Woohoo. It goes beyond that. Rather than just simply introducing, here's Scarlet. She's the main character of this story. She likes beating people up. Oh boy, oh boy. Not only do we get that, but we get some critical insights into her personality. We see just how refined and controlled she can be, but the moment that she decides to let loose, there is a monster within. I might rather just go up against the Hulk rather than this girl, because I know that the Hulk will kill me in one punch. Scarlet? Oh, she is going to take her time, just enjoying destroying everyone and everything around her. We also get, within just a couple of minutes, some critical insights into the relationship that she has with Prince Kyle. Obviously, this was not a happy one. Duh. This is the basic setup of the villainous. Oh, the redemption of the villainous, which is, as Scott has talked about a lot in some of our previous videos, it is a rather new trend in shoujo manga and one that he particularly enjoys, and I think that it's pretty well pulled off here. But what we especially get to learn in just, again, the first few minutes of this introduction, we get to see why Scarlet hates Kyle so much. Before we even get to the flashback, which dominates the most of the episode, we can already see how this guy grates on her with his superiority complex, which really is more of a Napoleon complex. But also, this man has no honor, no scruples, no backbone, no courage whatsoever. When Scarlet goes in to punch little pink-haired girl, he lets go of her. He takes a step back. He doesn't even step in to defend his new fiancée. Scarlet hates this guy because he's obviously everything that a good, honorable man should not be. She has no respect for people who cannot respect themselves or respect others. And that is a very telling and very important quality in her going forward throughout the rest of the story. This is already introduced to us within the first few minutes, and it does not need to get spelled out. That's fantastic. So we have our main character, we have her named, we have some motivation for her, we know that she's an absolute beast, but we get some very important insights into her sense of honor, which again is going to be very important going on throughout the rest of the episode and especially into episode 2. And we already get a good hint at that sadistic side of her as well, that she's a-okay with just breaking people, hurting people, and that she derives a certain sense of pleasure from it. Now, as the rest of the first episode evolves, we're going to see how this is actually a little bit more nuanced, but honestly, we've already been introduced to that this is a very core aspect of who she is. She is someone who derives delight and fulfillment from beating the snot out of other people, and especially if it's the kind of people that she cannot stand. Go back again to how she hates people who, in her view, have no honor. So, we get a ton of great information about her character, which is not spelled out at all, but is rather left to the viewer to watch and absorb. That's very smart storytelling. That is showing and not telling, which, if you've watched enough anime, you realize there's always a lot of telling. Sometimes there's a whole lot of excellent showing, but there's always just these info dumps, these info bombs about, oh, so-and-so is so good at this, so-and-so, their family situation is like this, so-and-so who has such and such power. And I'd rather get to see that happen. And in fact, that's something that this first episode does so well, is that it drops all this information about her magical abilities, her special abilities, her religious connections, and all of this, and it does it by showing us little snippets, little Easter eggs and clues all over the place. The opening does so much heavy lifting for her character, setting her up for all of the development that we're going to get throughout the rest of the first episode and well into the second. That's one of the reasons why this is just so dang good. It introduces the main character in such an elaborate, informative way without beating you over the head with that information in the form of an info dump.
Take heed, kind viewer. I shall now explain why I, Scarlet L. Endymion, have utterly and completely exploded.
Next, we come to the introduction of the plot. And yes, the plot is introduced to us, at least in part, in the opening minutes. And again, this is very important for a story to do. You need to inform your readers or your audience what exactly they're getting themselves into. Yes, they might have read the description of the show. Maybe they read the synopsis on the back of the book, and so they have an idea of what they're getting into. But people like to know that when they crack open the book or when they watch the first episode, that it is indeed living up to what you are selling them. And so, boom, within the first 3 minutes, we've got Scarlet aiming for Prince Kyle's fiancé, and you know she's about to unleash her wrath on everyone in that room. And we've been shown just how craven and awful all of these characters are with just brief blips and moments in the opening minutes. You know she's about to just absolutely let loose. And I just want to say right off the bat, what could have been a one-off joke, something that would have led to a great first episode, but then led to just the story taking a step down immediately in the second episode, is that, well, Scarlet gets her revenge right off the bat. She takes down the pink-haired girl, she takes out all of the corrupt noblemen, she then turns on Prince Kyle, smashes in his face, blasts him into the wall, boom, revenge complete. But what is great about this is that what we have been served up as the plot is just the very first stepping stone to something much bigger. This is the genius, actually, of the second episode, is that it builds up on the consequences of episode 1. Because Scarlet took down Prince Kyle and his immediate ring, this means that the greater faction that was trying to prop him up as the next successor to the throne, they're now on the back heels, and their illegal dealings have been brought into the limelight, which means they need to get rid of Scarlet. They need to get rid of Prince Julius. They need to find some kind of way of getting Prince Kyle back into good graces and getting him back onto the throne. or at least into line for the throne. They gotta do something. And so immediately, villains begin reacting. The world starts evolving and changing because of Scarlet's choices in episode 1, which are set up and already executed in the opening minutes of episode 1. Fantastic. That's what you love to see. You love to see the plot already in motion, and we've gotten some excellent insights into the main character, as I've talked about. Fantastic. The last element that needs to be addressed when you are opening up a story and introducing everything to your audience is the atmosphere.
This bitch and her fool of a prince have unearthed a rage that seethed within me. But to fully convey the depth of my anger, it is necessary to look back to the past.
Now, something important to understand about atmosphere versus tone. The tone, which is kind of the emotion that you want the audience to feel, that is addressed from scene to scene, from chapter to chapter, from arc to arc. The atmosphere is the general feeling throughout the story. Are we looking for a rom-com? Are we looking into a psychological thriller? Are we looking into a murder mystery? Are we looking into a high-flying adventure story? Are we looking into grimdark? Whatever it is, that's the atmosphere, the general feeling for the overall story, what the audience can expect. And in the opening minutes of this show, you get it. You get that we have a very serious setup. The first 2 episodes of May I Ask for One Final Thing actually have a lot of pretty deep and dark stuff happening if you're paying attention. If you just don't take it at face value, but you think about what's really going on, this kingdom is fraught with all kinds of problems. There's a lot that needs to be cleaned up. So yeah, Scarlet's got her work cut out for her, but the story immediately indicates to you that it's not going to take itself too seriously. It's going to play off a lot of these darker and deeper elements by having a bit of a laugh at it, by doing some tongue-in-cheek stuff, and even to a certain extent breaking the fourth wall. And this comes about from Scarlet addressing the audience of, well, here I am in this situation. I'm about to beat a bunch of people's faces in. How did I get here? Well, I'm going to tell you how I get here. And from there, we go into the flashback. And this is important because while the story is going to handle a lot of bigger themes and elements, it's not going to take itself too seriously. It's not going to be afraid to break the fourth wall when it wants to. It's not going to be afraid to make the characters seem really silly from time to time. It's not going to be afraid to allow you and itself to have a laugh. And it's important to do that because otherwise, what it wants to do with exposing the darker underbelly of the kingdom, Scarlet's getting revenge, and all of these other awful things happening around her and what's going on in society. While it wants to address all those things, if it just addressed them point blank, it would not be any different from so many other stories that have already done that, and on top of that, it wouldn't be quite as interesting. It would be rather dry. And so, we're being told in the very first few minutes that while there's going to be some darker things that we are dealing with in May I Ask for One Final Thing, we're going to have a laugh at it. We're going to be very tongue-in-cheek about it. So that way, you recognize that darkness is going to be balanced out with humor, with great laughter, with some self-deprecation, and with a little bit of fourth wall breaking. That way, you already know, okay, this is what I'm getting into, and the rest of the show follows through with that. It's great. You are introduced to everything that you need to know about this show going in within the first few minutes. It's such a strong introduction. It's phenomenal. I would love to see more stories do this. Now, of course, depending on the genre that you're dealing with and depending on the depth and breadth of your story, there's certain things, of course, that you're going to want to play close to the chest. You don't want to reveal everything to the audience right off the bat. Not at all. But again, a good, strong introduction to any story immediately lets you know who at least one of the main characters is. It introduces you in part way to the plot, and it firmly establishes the overall atmosphere of the story. And the very first opening minutes to May I Ask for One Final Thing do exactly that. So there you have it. That's my breakdown for this phenomenal opening for May I Ask for One Final Thing, and I am so looking forward to the rest of this anime. I don't know if I'm going to do an episode by episode review for it because there's just so many other great shows to talk about this anime season, but if you want to have more videos about this phenomenal anime, please let me know in the comments below and I will see what I can do about that. Maybe even get Scott on into some of these because he's the one who first introduced me to this manga and has really been looking forward to it. So again, please just let us know in the comments. But with all that being said, thank you so much for joining us on this incredible adventure that we call writing. And if you want to support everything that we do here at Camille's Harem, make sure that you like, comment, that you subscribe if you haven't already done so. But if you especially want to support us, check out the books that we've published. Links for all of them are in the description below. And thank you so much once again, and until the next video, y'all, tschüss!